Hello all, welcome to daily newspaper analysis of Shankar IAS Academy. Today's date is 13th of August 2024. Displayed here are the list of articles that we are going to discuss today. Since there was no video yesterday, we have taken articles from yesterday's newspaper as well. So without much delay, let us get into the first news article discussion. Now look at this news article about earthquake. Experts have warned that there is a 70% chance of another major earthquake in the next 30 years in Japan, especially near the Nankai Trough. The Nankai Trough is an underwater subduction zone of the Japan's southwest coast where the Philippine sea plate is being pushed under the Eurasian plate. This process builds up tectonic stress leading to powerful earthquake, often exceeding magnitude 8. Such a quake could cause widespread destruction including massive tsunami and significant economic damage, affecting most of Japan's population and infrastructure. This is what the article is talking about. So in this news article discussion, let us revise about the basics of earthquake. See, earthquake is the intense shaking of earth crust due to crustal movement of rocks along the fault line. So when we talk about the terms related to earthquake, see, the first important term is focus. It is a point at a certain location below the earth's surface where the casual movement occurs. Then the second one is epicenter. It is the location directly above the focus on the surface of the earth. These two are very important terms that you might get confused. Also, there are two different types of seismic waves, which includes body waves and the surface waves. Body waves have two classification, P waves and S waves, and the surface waves have two classification, Love and Rayleigh waves. So let us briefly see about them one by one. The distinction between the waves is frequently in the prelims question. That is why we are making an effort to explain it to you. Let's start with the body wave, P waves. See, these are primary waves because these are the first wave to be detected. They move with very high velocity and they move along the direction of the wave. So it is known as the longitudinal wave. They can travel through both the solid and liquid. So they are found between 105 degree and 145 degrees. Then the S wave, they are the next wave to be detected after the P waves. They comparatively have low velocity and they move up and down or side to side. So they travel perpendicular to the direction in which the wave is moving, and hence it is also known as the transverse waves. They can travel only through the solids, and that is why they are found only beyond 105 degrees as they cannot travel through the liquid outer mantle. When talking about the surface waves, the Love wave is the fastest and move the ground from side to side, and the Rayleigh wave roll like waves on the surface of oceans and lakes. So this is about the basics of the earthquake, the terms and their types. Now let us see the vulnerable areas in India. According to NDMA, during the last 15 years, the country has experienced 10 major earthquakes that have resulted in over 20,000 deaths. As per the current seismic zone map of India, over 59% of India's land area is under threat of mediate to severe seismic hazards. You can see that in the map given here. Here the zone 5 is the highest zone of danger. Now let us see the 6 pillars of earthquake mitigation according to NDMA. See, the first one is earthquake resistant construction of new structure. Secondly, selective seismic strengthening and retrofitting of existing priority structure and lifeline structures. Thirdly, regulations and enforcement. Fourthly, awareness and preparedness, especially through public awareness and sensitization at national level and all vulnerable states. Fifthly, capacity development, that is providing education, training, capacity building and documentation. This also includes institutional strengthening, which involves capacity building of education and research in colleges and institutions. Finally, the emergency response. The Ministry of Earth Sciences, created by Indian government, along with different agencies like Earth Commission, IMD and others involved in weather, earthquake and earth sciences. Their main job is to coordinate these agencies and manage early warning system for seismic activity. Secondly, seismic vulnerability assessment of building type in India. They work to prepare catalog of different building types in various parts of India, and they also develop vulnerability functions for a number of different building types appearing in the building catalogs. Finally, preparation of upgraded earthquake hazard map. See, as per the recommendation of the Working Committee of Experts, NDMA has undertaken a project through Building Materials Technology Promotion Council for upgradation of earthquake hazard mapping for the country. So these are all the 6 pillars of earthquake mitigation in India. I have displayed here a mains question regarding our discussion. You can write an answer and post it in the comment section. So with these facts, now let us move on to the next news article. Look at this news article. According to the news article, International Labour Organization has reported a decline in the youth unemployment to 13% from the pre-pandemic rate of 13.8% in 2019. Let us revise about unemployment from the mains perspective. So firstly, what is unemployment? See, it is a state in which a person actively seeks for work but the work is not available. There are many different types of unemployment. The first one is the seasonal unemployment. See, in this case, a person will be employed only for a particular period of a year. For example, the agricultural laborers. Secondly, the cyclical unemployment. It is mainly caused due to fluctuation in the business cycle. Thirdly, underemployment. This mainly happens when a person cannot utilize their full potential. For example, an engineer working in the account section of a bank. Then comes the structural unemployment. It happens when there is mismatch between the skills that the worker possesses and the skills needed by the employer. For example, the emergence of AI will affect the jobs in the IT. So in India, the Ministry of MSME and Labour and Employment are key ministries with the responsibility of employment. Now let us quickly see the unemployment trend in India as per the periodical labour force survey conducted by Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. The unemployment rate in 2022 to 23 is 10%. And here you can see the Reserve Bank's latest scale EMS data. Then you can also see the urban and rural employment rate in the slide given here. You can make note of it and use it as your value addition point in your mains answer writing. Now let us quickly go through the reasons for educated unemployment. See, the first thing is limitation in education system. This includes skill mismatch and lack of industrial and academic collaboration. The second important thing is limited growth of the job market. See, leading to a surplus of educated individuals competing for a limited number of jobs is an issue here. Thirdly, there is a urban and rural divide. As you all know, the employment opportunities are often concentrated in urban area. So graduates from rural area may struggle to find job in their local regions and relocate to urban centers, causing challenge in seeking employment. Thirdly, there is lack of soft skills. See, many graduates lack essential soft skills like communication, teamwork and problem solving, which is crucial for most jobs. Then there is a lack of career guidance. Many students do not receive adequate career guidance, leading them to choose fields of study without a clear understanding of job prospects or their own interest and strengths. Then there is also economic fluctuations that have an impact on job market, and there is also a challenge posed by the technological advancements that occur over a period of time. Having discussed that, now let us quickly go through certain government initiatives that has been taken to reduce the unemployment rate. See, even in this year's budget, unemployment was quoted first. So let's start with the skill development program. The first important one is Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. It provides skill certification scheme for Indian youth by the Ministry of Skill Development. Then the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Kendra, Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, has initiated this to establish the state-of-art, visible, aspirational model training centers in every districts of India. Then the Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gramin Kaushal Yojana, Ministry of Rural Development, has initiated this to provide skill training for poor youth. Then there are also employment generation programs like Atmanirbhar Bharat, Rozgar Yojana. This is under Ministry of Labour and Employment, and the Pradhan Mantri Protsahan Yojana, PMRPY. Then we also have the MGNREGA, that is Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme. Apart from this, there is also credit schemes like Prime Minister's Employment Generation Program, then Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. See, the PMEGP is launched by Ministry of MSME. It is a major credit-linked subsidy program that aim to generate self-employment opportunities through establishment of micro-enterprises in the non-farm sector by helping traditional artisans and unemployed youth. Then the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, PMMY, it has been launched by the Ministry of Finance on April 8, 2015 for providing loans up to 10 lakh to non-corporate, non-farm small or micro enterprises. So these are all important facts that you have to remember about unemployment. Here there is a mains question for you. Discuss the reasons behind the educated unemployment and suggest measures to reduce the rate of educated unemployment. So for this question, write an answer and post it in the comment section. We will review your answer. Look at this news article about forest fire. This news article reports us about the forest fire in the Amazon rainforest. So in this news article discussion, let us revise about the forest fire from the prelims perspective. So let us start with what is a forest fire. See, it is nothing but uncontrolled burning of plants in natural setting. It consumes natural fuel and spreads based on environmental factors like wind and topography. So in simple words, wild forest fire needs three key components to sustain combustion. It includes fuel, oxygen, and heat sources. According to the ISFR 2021 report, India's forest cover is fire prone up to 35.47%. So with this basic understanding, let us see how forest fire is managed in India. See, the nodal office for forest fire is Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. They set policies and strategies. Then comes the State Forest Department. They work on implementation of these strategies. And then comes the National Disaster Management Authority, NDMA. They work on disaster response in the ground level. Now let's move on to see about the causes of the forest fire. See, as usual, there are natural causes, then the human activities, and there is climatic factors. When we talk about natural causes, it includes lightning, then volcanic eruption, and then human activities include agriculture, deforestation, careless disposal of cigarettes, then arson. Then comes the climatic factor, which includes drought, dry biomass, and hot weather. Now let us see the impacts of forest fire. See, there are positive and negative impacts. The positive impacts include ecological benefits. That is, certain plants require the forest fire to germinate. So it contributes to ecological benefits. Secondly, when forest fire happens, the nutrients are released and sent back to the soil itself. So this helps in nutrient recycling. Thirdly, it helps in habitat management, especially certain plants are adapted to the forest fires. So to maintain the habitat of these wild species, forest fire is important. Now let's see some of the negative impacts. The first thing is it causes environmental damage, then it causes air pollution to the nearby region, and it also causes economic losses when it expands beyond the forest area. So these are all very common factors that you have to remember. Here you can see some of the vulnerable zones in India. It includes Himalayan region, central India, and the northeastern states. In this map, you can also see that in the red color dots mentioned here. Now let us see some of the regulation and measures taken for forest fire in India. The first important thing is the Forest Conservation Act 1980. It provides a legal framework for forest protection. Then secondly, National Action Plan on Climate Change, NAPCC. It includes forest fire management. Then the Wildlife Protection Act 1972. It indirectly supports forest conservation. Then comes the Integrated Forest Protection Scheme. It aims to protect forest from various threats, including the forest fire. Then there are also other aspects of management, which includes fire management training, early warning system, and there is also forest fire prevention and management scheme. So these are all very important facts that you have to remember about forest fire from the prelims perspective regarding the forest fire. Now let us solve a MCQ based on the discussion that we just saw. Consider the following like carbon monoxide, methane, ozone, sulfur dioxide. Which of the above are released into the atmosphere due to burning of crop or biomass residue? So here the correct answer is option D, 1, 2, 3 and 4. All will be released while biomass is burnt. So with these facts, now let's move on to the next article. Look at this news article. This news article talks about a recent report, security and insecurity. According to the report, the paramilitary forces have set up their camp at the tribal properties without their consent, violating several laws. These camps are usually set up to conduct welfare activities like constructing roads, schools and health centers, but the activists claim that it is apparent that the real purpose of these camps is to protect and promote corporate interest because only wide roads are constructed there, which facilitates mining operations conducted by private sector. So this is what the article is briefly talking about. So in this news article discussion, even though if it is not related to left-wing extremism, let us revise about them. Left-wing extremism and some of the protection that is offered to curtail the left-wing extremism from the prelims perspective. So let's start with what is left-wing extremism. See, a number of left-wing extremism have been operating in certain remote and poorly connected pockets of the country for a few decades now. These groups are involved in majority of incidents of violence and killing of civilians and security forces and have been included in the schedule of terrorist organizations under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1967. The philosophy of left-wing extremism is armed insurgency to overthrow the government. They believe in violence as the form to capture state power. This is unacceptable under the Indian Constitution and the founding principles of the Indian state. The poor and the marginalized section, like the tribals, are bearing the impact of this violence. Some of the left-wing affected areas include Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Odisha, West Bengal, Andhra Pradesh, then Telangana, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh and Kerala. Now let us see some of the paramilitary forces that play important role in combating left-wing extremism in India. See, the first important one is the Central Reserved Police Force, CRPF. They are the primary force engaged in anti-left-wing extremism operation. Second comes the Border Security Force, BSF. They guard border and assist in internal security. Third comes the Indo-Tibetan Border Police, ITBP. They are assigned in the Indo-China border and they support operations in Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand. Then comes the Sastra Seema Ball, SSB. They guard Nepal and Bhutan border and also involved in anti-left-wing extremism operation. Apart from this, there are certain government strategies to mitigate the left-wing extremism. Let us see them one by one. Firstly, there is a national policy and action plan. It is a multi-pronged strategy involving security-related measures, development interventions, ensuring rights and entitlement of local communities. Then the Ministry of Home Affairs has demarcated and monitoring the situation in 38 left-wing affected districts across 9 states that have been identified for special attention. Thirdly, the security related expenditure scheme. It is a scheme by the central government that helps state affected by left-wing extremism to reimburse certain costs. These costs including training and operation need for security forces, then compensation for families of civilians and security personnel killed or injured in left-wing extremism violence, and rehabilitation of surrendered left-wing extremism members. Then the Special Central Assistance, SCA, the main purpose of this is to provide critical infrastructure gaps in the region. See, the main purpose of the left-wing extremism is to overthrow the government, right? Why they want to go overthrow the government? Because they are not satisfied with the development programs. So, in order to bring or bridge the gap, this SCA will help to bring development to the region. Similarly, the Special Infrastructure Scheme. It builds public infrastructure and services in the region. Then for rural development, we have Road Connectivity Project for left-wing affected areas, in short called as RCPLWE. Then the Civic Action Program, CAP. It also bridges the gap between security forces and local people through personal interaction and bring the human face of SFs before the local population. The scheme has been successful in achieving its goal. So it is very important to note this CAP, that is Civil Action Program. So these are all very important facts that you have to remember about LWE. Left-wing extremism is affected 39 regions in 9 different states, and the Ministry of Home Affairs is keeping an eye on it. All the security forces, which include CRPF, Border Security Force, Indo-Tibetan Border Police, ITBP, then SSB, all of them coordinate with the Ministry of Home Affairs to control the region in order to bring law and order in a particular place. So these are all very important facts that you have to remember. Let's solve a MCQ regarding this content. Here different police force has been given and the bordering area they work is also given. Here the correct answer is option C, only 3. meaning all the three pack are correctly matched. So with this, we came to the end of the news article discussion. If you like the video, hit like, do comment, and don't forget to subscribe to Shankar IAS Academy YouTube channel. Now, thank you so much for listening.